Através do início da vida na Terra, todos os organismos tiveram que criar formas de se manter em perfeita saúde. Uma forma de se reparar e manter a homeostase. Desde organismos muito simples, os primeiros organismos em termos evolucionários, eles desenvolveram um processo biológico para reciclar células velhas e manter seu corpo de uma forma saudável, de uma forma jovem e otimizada a um nível celular. Esse processo foi chamado por Oshinori Ohsumi, um biólogo celular do Japão que ganhou o Prêmio Nobel em Fisiologia e Medicina por descobrir os mecanismos que foram nomeados autofagia. Do grego, auto, a si mesmo, fagia, comer, comer a si mesmo. Um processo conservado através da evolução que causa degradação de células, remove desnecessários e disfuncionais componentes e cria novos. Autofagia é o nome do processo que o jejum inicia. Embora, nessa era moderna de seres humanos alimentados extremamente em excesso, muitas pessoas veem jejuar por mais de 3 horas como inanição. Mas não foi assim ao longo de toda a história humana e por todo o tempo que existe vida no planeta. Antes da medicina aparecer, em torno de 2.000 anos atrás, a única forma que seres humanos e animais tinham de cuidar de si mesmos era através do jejum. Você já parou para pensar por que animais e seres humanos não sentem fome quando machucados ou doentes ou sobre condições de estresse excessivo? Eu te peço para esperar até o final desse filme e não tire conclusões iniciais ou julgamentos. Então talvez perceberá que a principal forma e mais efetiva de cura, de regeneração que existe é apenas e verdadeiramente a cirurgia e a regeneração que a natureza criou através dos milênios. Como Paracelsus, um dos principais médicos da história, disse: jejuar é o maior remédio, é o médico que vem de dentro. Jejuar pode salvar sua vida. Meu nome é Eduardo Coraça, um nutricionista brasileiro focado em nutrição crudívora, de alimentos crus. Eu me tornei um crudívoro e um higienista natural devido a diversas doenças na infância. Cresci comendo muita comida industrializada, sedentário, sem exposição à luz solar, devido a ficar muito tempo em casa, jogando videogames. Sofri de alergias, dores na coluna, baixa performance no esporte e na escola. Quando eu tinha 22 anos de idade, eu estava diabético para fazer 2 cirurgias, uma na coluna devido a uma hérnia de disco e outra no meu nariz, por não conseguir mais respirar normalmente, devido a muitos problemas de saúde. Após anos buscando as soluções através da medicina moderna alopática, tentando remédios e tratamentos, eu tentei a medicina naturalista, mas ainda assim não tinha bons resultados. Após anos procurando soluções, eu esbarrei no conceito de crudivorismo e em pouco tempo o conceito de higiene natural, uma medicina de estilo de vida. Eu mudei completamente meu estilo de vida da noite para o dia e isso salvou minha vida por completo. Desde então, meu maior desejo era curar meu corpo completamente de 22 anos do pior estilo de vida possível e da minha dieta onívora rica em alimentos industrializados. Pelos últimos 16 anos, eu tenho vivido numa dieta crua, frugívora, baseada em frutas, vegetais e uma pequena quantidade de oleaginosas, assim como exercícios, banhos de sol, dormindo cedo e jantando muito cedo antes do sol se pôr. Mesmo assim, eu ainda sabia que eu precisava de um jejum à base de água, mais especificamente um longo jejum higienista. Após anos seguindo o trabalho do Loren Lockman e seu centro de jejum, Tanglewood, eu decidi tirar 2 meses de férias e fazer um jejum de 40 dias à base de água na Costa Rica. Eu tinha certeza que era o melhor centro de jejum devido ao método Loren enfatizar uma dieta crua frugívora e o modelo higienista. Ao chegar na Costa Rica, nós fomos diretos ao Tanglewood, perto da famosa Nicoya, uma cidade famosa por ser uma zona azul e ter um altíssimo número de centenários. Ao chegar ao centro, eu me impressionei com um local lindo, uma grande quantidade de vegetação e árvores frutíferas por todos os lugares, uma piscina, um grande salão para todas as pessoas lá jejuando poderem interagir e descansar. Nós tínhamos nossa linda cabana. A rotina diária era de verificar os sinais vitais toda manhã, por volta do meio-dia sempre uma palestra com Loren e ele vem conversar conosco no início da tarde para checar como nós estamos indo e fazer comentários e sugestões de como conduzir o jejum. Ele sempre nos encorajava a descansar e beber água o suficiente para nos manter hidratados. A luz do mundo se iluminará dentro de você quando você jejuar e se purificar. Prazer, sou o Eduardo Coraça, mais conhecido nas mídias sociais como Dr. Coraça. Sou famoso por ser o nutricionista mais polêmico do Brasil. Eu fui o primeiro no Brasil a fazer jejuns longos, há quase 20 anos atrás, um jejum de 24 dias à base de água. Muito antes de já ter o termo jejum intermitente, eu já praticava jejum intermitente, ou seja, 16 anos atrás, quando o termo nem tinha sido nomeado na literatura. Eu fui o primeiro a escrever um livro didático científico sobre jejum, publicar documentários sobre jejum. Meu mais nobre intuito de compartilhar o que salvou minha vida e o que eu acho que poderia ajudar a vida e a saúde de muita gente. Um tratamento natural, gratuito, sem efeito colateral, que pode ajudar, na minha humilde opinião, mais do que qualquer outro tipo de intervenção. Eu fiz esse documentário em parceria com uma instituição de jejum na Costa Rica. Então, o documentário foi em inglês. A gente traduziu várias das partes do documentário para você e algumas das outras partes são legendadas. Então fica até o final, porque tem muita coisa boa para se aprender e algumas das coisas que eu até mudei de perspectiva no final do jejum. Espero que você goste.
Hi, I'm Loren Lockman. I'm 61 years old. I am the founder and director of the Tanglewood Wellness Center here in Costa Rica, right here where we are in Costa Rica. And I've been a raw vegan now for nearly 31 years, a health coach for more than 30 years, and for the last 26 and a half years I've run Tanglewood, where we have guided more than 10,000 people through fasts averaging 26 days and often longer than that. It's been an amazing journey.
Hi, my name is Morgan Lucas. I'm here from San Diego, California.
Hi there, I'm Leon. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm 30 years old.
Hello, my name is Raul Cepeda. I'm from Texas. I am 64 years old.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael and I come from Ireland. I am 30 years old.
My name is Dan Weiss. I'm from the USA, the state of Oregon. I'm age 73, although I don't feel like that.
Hi, my name is Ido Khalifa from Israel, Bat Yam. I came here to Tanglewood to fast for 21 days.
My name is Aaron Kessler. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I'm here to do a 42-day water fast with 21 days of refeeding afterwards.
Hey, I'm Anthony Benware. I am from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm 24 years old, and I just fasted here 21 days.
Hey, I'm Dave. I'm from the United States, here at Tanglewood Wellness Center. It is day 39 of my fast.
My name is Bill. I'm from the United States. I'm 73 years old, and I'm here at the Tanglewood Wellness Center. I just completed my 4th fast that I've done.
I'm here because I was hoping to heal from chronic Lyme disease, autoimmune disease. I recently had a head trauma with a concussion. I got stitches, and then also chronic digestive issues. specifically SIBO, parasites, candida overgrowth, a lot of digestive issues that wouldn't allow me to gain weight.
I water fasted because I don't know if it's healed, I need to figure that out, but I was struggling with chronic fatigue, IBS, like allergic rhinitis in the sinuses, and yeah, my immune system was like pretty deficient, so every time that there was like a flu or like a cold going around, then I was probably the first one to get it. So yeah, that was for me the reason that I did this fast. I did 22 days.
I'm doing a 6-week fast. This is my second time here at Tanglewood, and the reason for coming, I want to do it for health reasons and to lose weight. I've seen a lot of benefits by being here. The first time I got rid of a lot of problems that I had in my health, and so this time I'm back again for 6 weeks, and hopefully I'm enjoying it a lot. So I have 42 days fast.
So I came here to do a fast to help with lots of health problems in my gut and in my nervous system and everywhere in my body, to be honest. And because I've had so much, it was a very difficult process. I felt like I was getting rid of so many toxins, and I did 22 days fasting, and I released so many emotions and toxins.
My purpose of coming here to Tanglewood is to not only learn the correct way of fasting, but learning how to refeed and break it. I have a long history of fasting myself over the years, and fasting actually saved my life years ago. After my return from Vietnam for a year stay over there back in the 60s, I was a nervous wreck, overweight. One day I had a fasting book that passed my way by Paul Bragg. By the time I was reading halfway through it, I just started doing it. Because at that time I was under the direction of the Veterans Administration, giving me various drugs to recover from. It was only making me worse. So I stopped listening and taking anything of that nature, of any type of pharmaceutical, and just ventured out on my own. Although I was suffering from some weird experience of nervousness, which I couldn't explain. So, however, I did realize through the Veterans Administration, based on my location in Vietnam at the time, that I was exposed to Agent Orange.
O jejum não é nem de longe tão mortal quanto banquete. J. Harold Smith.
My own journey started many years ago, actually. At 14, I began to study nutrition. I'd grown a lot and wanted to figure out how to make my body healthy, how to fill out and build some muscle. I got very sick, though, when I graduated from college at 23, a little late, playing around a little too much. And about 6 months later, found myself very sick, later diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic sinusitis, systemic candida, and 57 allergies. I'd become allergic to virtually everything. And I went to medicine. It's all I really knew was conventional medicine for 3 years, but I got worse all the time. And it finally occurred to me that medicine was really only about suppressing symptoms, which has nothing to do with health. Okay, that's not health. And I was getting worse. And so it occurred to me that if I wanted to get my health back, I was going to have to figure it out myself because I didn't know where else to turn. And so I started looking around. It occurred to me that diet must be important. I mean, as I said, I'd started studying nutrition at 14. I went back to nutrition, realized I was doing everything conventional nutrition said that I should do. And here I was, sicker than anybody I knew, at least anyone my own age, at 26 at this point. And so I started thinking about the so-called science of nutrition, the way it's taught today. And frankly, I think it doesn't make much sense. But what occurred to me was that every single species on the planet, there's roughly 25 million animal species, every single one of them has a species-specific diet, a natural diet that is the only diet that species consumes. And it occurred to me there must be a natural diet for our bodies as well. Obviously, that doesn't include processed foods. With only a little bit of study, it became obvious to me it didn't include animal products in a human body. And so I gave up those two things and saw amazing things change. And I kept my mind open, and it was a few years later, I was actually at a health conference, and I overheard two people talking. I was walking down a sidewalk between two buildings and overheard someone say, I just heard two words of the conversation. I heard raw food. And I thought to myself, here I am trying to make my diet as natural as possible, and I'm still cooking food every day, or eating cooked food every day. I stopped eating cooked food, and amazing things happen. Now, around the same time, a little earlier even, I'd come across a book called Rational Fasting by Professor Arnold Ehret from Germany. The book had been written in 1928 or 1929. I'm discovering it many years later, many decades later. He was long dead, and it sounded crazy, but it made some sense to me at the same time. I mean, I had no idea that people could go weeks without food, and I wasn't sure if I believed him, but it made some sense. And so I decided to try it. And what happened over the next couple of years was amazing as I worked my way up from 2 days to 21 days and saw incredible shifts happen in my body, in my health. And it's now been 35 years since I began fasting, and I haven't been sick a single day in that time. The change in me was so dramatic that people would come up to me and say, oh my God, you look incredible. What did you do? They'd seen me before and they saw how sick I was. That's how I started health coaching. I had no intention to become health coach. I was kind of resistant to it. I was running a very lucrative commercial real estate business. After a few years, I realized that I really wanted to put my time and energy into doing something that felt important to the world. It didn't feel so important to help wealthy people make more money, which is what I was doing. I wanted to instead help everyone, as many as I could, get their health back, to create the amazing level of health and vitality, which I now know is everyone's birthright. This is something most people never experience, and yet I've helped more than 15,000 clients, coaching clients as well as fasting clients, create incredible levels of health and vitality, overcoming conditions that they never thought were possible. And this is what got me started and what keeps me going. It's why even today, all these years later, I'm still excited to get out of bed to help people shift their health and their vitality, because I believe that every single human being has genius in some area, and that everyone's capable of manifesting amazing things. Unfortunately, most people never do, because most people don't actually feel that good. Most people aren't that clear mentally, and they don't feel very good physically. And so I know that everyone can do much better, and I'm so excited to help anyone who's open to it. Obviously, some people aren't.
Eu jejuo para uma maior eficiência física e mental. Platão. Eu já sinto alguns benefícios. Sinto-me menos inflamado, minhas articulações estão mais flexíveis e móveis e estalo menos. Meu pescoço está mais relaxado. Posso sentir os músculos mais relaxados e também o meu maxilar. Porque eu tinha muitas dores nas costas quando eu era jovem, eu tinha uma hérnia de disco e estava prestes a fazer uma cirurgia antes de começar a praticar a higiene natural. Esse estilo de vida e medicina é tão saudável, uma medicina de estilo de vida. Minhas costas estavam sempre comprimidas, assim como meu pescoço e minha mandíbula. E por causa disso, eu sempre tive um pouco de gengivite, periodontite. Agora eu posso sentir um pouco de estalos na minha mandíbula, mas sinto ela menos rígida e a clareza mental começa a aumentar mais e mais. E também meus sentidos, como meu olfato, minha audição, melhorando. Eu me sinto muito melhor. fisicamente, emocionalmente, mas estou começando a sentir a falta de energia, o desejo de ser menos ativo para ficar mais na cama. Eu já bebi 1,5 litro de água até agora, provavelmente 2 litros. Tenho que aumentar um pouco minha ingestão de água, de acordo com a visão do Loren. Eu já posso me sentir um pouco mais saudável. Meu plano é chegar realmente aos 40 dias, mas eu apenas descansarei e deixarei meu corpo me guiar para o quanto ele acha que precisa. Na verdade, eu defequei uma vez ontem e agora. Provavelmente ao longo de todo o jejum, não mais, porque eu não estou mais ingerindo comida. Em um jejum, o corpo quebra suas partes defeituosas e reconstrói novas quando a realimentação é introduzida.
As I mentioned, I started out, I read this book and wasn't sure that I could fast for weeks at a time, so I decided to try 2 days. I'd done 1 day. I grew up fasting 1 day every year for Yom Kippur, a religious holiday, and I thought I would try 2. And so I tried 2. I parked myself close to the refrigerator just to be safe, and I went 2 days. And when that succeeded, I went 4, and then I went 8. And I worked my way up to fasting 21 days. And I did that many, many times. In fact, I never went beyond 21 days. By the time I realized that I could, because I didn't really understand this. When I started off 35 years ago, I had no way of knowing that someone, and back then I was 4 or 5% body fat. I didn't realize I could go that long. I could have, but I didn't know it. So 6 weeks. So I went 21 days, and I did that multiple times. I've now fasted more than 3.5 years of my life cumulatively. So I've done a lot of fasting. I think equally important, I've now maintained an optimal diet for nearly 31 years. And so that makes an enormous difference. You know, the fasting is like a giant reset button. And how we feel and function, fasting makes a huge difference. But it's the choices that we make on an ongoing basis that allow us to continue manifesting incredible levels of health and vitality. Okay, without the ongoing excellent choices, we go back and recreate the same conditions we had before.
With some pain in the back or the neck, and wanted to fix it and get healthier and clear-minded, and the journey for me, the 21 days of fasting, wasn't that hard for me. It was maybe a little hard spiritually, physically a little less harder.
I came to do 40 days and I did 36. So I'm 36 years old. I ended up doing 1 day for every year of my life. In the Asking Gospel of Peace, it talks about that's the way to fast, to atone for your sins or for eating foods that are not harmonic with our body. And so that really resonated with me. I'm about 11 days into refeeding at this point, and I came in struggling with suicidal depression, amongst other things in my life, and I'm leaving here motivated to do my life and take care of me first before other relationships and things that came into this suicidally depressed and really struggling with basically giving away my energy and my time and to other things other than myself. And I've found a new focus just through this process in my own body and in my mind and in my heart and in my soul. And they say the longest distance in the universe is about 18 inches from your head to your heart. And while I was here, my soul was able to pull what I understood to be a healthy psychology or taking care of myself down actually into my heart and sink it in. So I'm leaving here with a new motivation in life, a new business that I just started coming into this, and a new focus on taking care of my body, changing my diet and being really focused on that. I'm very excited about that and committed to that for the first time in my life, and the energy that I needed to actually try again with not life and not be so literally depressed and weighed down. So it has absolutely changed my life going through this fasting experience, and I know I'll be doing more in the future, but did the big one. It gave me the push I needed to get my life going again. I also lost 50 pounds during that time, so I'm lost around 5 or 6% body fat. I know I have a lot to go, but I'm remotivated to actually get healthy, get fit, get strong, and take care of me first.
Se uma pessoa deseja boa saúde, ela precisa primeiro se perguntar se está disposta a largar as razões da sua doença. Estou me sentindo incrível, me sentindo melhor do que nunca. A sensação de estar jejuando, de ter um intestino vazio, é como se você tivesse mais energia, mais prazer na vida. As coisas são mais bonitas, as coisas são mais fáceis. Sua mente muda, sua perspectiva da vida. Você se torna mais positivo, tem ideias mais criativas, você fica mais introspectivo, você se sente magnificamente bem. Você sente que a vida vale muito mais a pena de ser vivida do que você sente quando está comendo. Eu já estou 8 quilos abaixo do peso. Provavelmente estou com cerca de 60 quilos agora. Meu rosto parece muito magro e com certeza a maioria das pessoas pensam que se uma pessoa normal que não sabe ou nunca jejuou, não sabe nada sobre o jejum, olha para você e pensa que você está doente. Ela pensa que você está pálido ou fraco, mas não. Na verdade, dentro de mim, eu me sinto mais forte do que nunca. Mas por fora, com certeza. Então, se voltarmos ao velho ditado, não julgue um livro pela capa, porque você pode olhar para fora e ver uma pessoa muito forte, mas ela está doente por dentro. Todos os biomarcadores de um fisiculturista, por exemplo, mostram que ele não vai ter uma vida longa. E todos os biomarcadores de uma pessoa que tem menos peso, como depois de um jejum, são todos biomarcadores que baixam a inflamação, como chamamos de PCR ultrassensível, a proteína C reativa. Eles estão todos elevados em pessoas que vivem da forma usual e estão todos mais baixos em uma pessoa numa dieta mais saudável ou após um jejum. Então isso mostra que temos menos inflamação, menos estresse oxidativo, melhor controle glicêmico, tudo melhora. Então tenho certeza que estou ficando mais saudável a cada dia. Minhas gengivas, desde que eu tinha 16 anos, tinham inflamação enorme. Era muito fácil sangrar quando eu estava escovando. Então, depois que eu comecei um estilo de vida higienista e uma dieta rica em alimentos crus há 16 anos, ficou muito melhor. Antes disso, eu havia tentado de tudo e nada realmente tinha funcionado. Depois que eu comecei a dieta crudívora, tudo ficou muito melhor, mas nunca chegou a 100%. Então agora dessa vez espero tentar regenerar o máximo possível. Parece que o corpo escolhe o que ele precisa consertar. Ele tem consertado as gengivas nos últimos 3 ou 4 dias. Eu senti elas bem inflamadas e agora a inflamação está quase acabando. Uma inflamação crônica na vida moderna usual é ruim, mas a inflamação, na verdade, é um processo de reparo, é uma coisa boa e é o que o corpo faz para nos ajudar a lidar com qualquer invasor estrangeiro, qualquer doença. Ele inicia a inflamação, ele manda o sangue para o local, para reparar o tecido, o órgão naquele local. Tenho certeza que posso sentir minhas gengivas e meus dentes mais saudáveis depois dessa inflamação na boca. Além disso, eu tinha dor nas costas desde que eu tinha 22 anos. Dores terríveis. E eu ia para a cama me sentindo cada vez mais cansado. E acordava mais cansado ainda. Isso eu só tinha 22 anos de idade. Então, quando eu comecei o higienismo, a minha coluna melhorou drasticamente. Mas nunca ficou 100%. Então é por isso que quando eu quebrei meu primeiro jejum, eu sabia que eu precisava de mais tempo para curar minhas costas. Provavelmente, eu acreditei que era o principal problema do meu corpo. E estou confiante que com esse jejum de 40 dias, se eu conseguir chegar a 40 dias, talvez não cure 100%, não regenere 100%, mas ficará melhor do que da última vez. E é por isso que eu continuo fazendo jejuns. Fazendo vários jejuns longos, ao longo desses 16 anos, é para regenerar o máximo possível dos meus 22 primeiros anos de infância, que eu estraguei o máximo possível o meu corpo e não respeitei-o como deveria ter respeitado. Mas eu não sabia direito, eu não sabia me cuidar. E agora, a única coisa que eu sinto realmente reparando durante o jejum é minhas costas e minha gengiva. Não sinto nenhum sintoma e um pouco apenas de letargia. É uma sensação como se eu tivesse muita energia, mas não tenho combustível para queimá-la, a glicose para queimar. Eu só sinto como se eu não quisesse fazer muita coisa, como se eu quisesse descansar, ler um pouco, ficar parado, ou no máximo conversar com alguém. Mas você fica numa vibração diferente. Você não tem a mesma sensação de estar em movimento quando você está comendo, mas eu estou feliz por não ficar pensando em comida.
I opened Tanglewood Wellness Center 26 years ago in March, so we're now 26 and a half years old. And I decided to open Tanglewood because I looked around at the places that were available, and back then there were a lot more places available. There was a fasting center, a small one in California, there was one in Texas, there was one in Ohio, there was one in Florida. There were actually two in Florida at the time, and there were several in other parts of the world. And I looked around, and most of them were very medically oriented. They felt like medical institutions. They weren't the kind of place I would want to spend 4 to 10 weeks resting and letting my body heal. You know, it's not the kind of environment. I mean, today my largest competition is a place in California on a busy street corner in a city where there's almost no outdoor space. You know, it's interesting, science has now proven that if you're in a hospital and you can see a tree, just see a tree from your hospital window, you heal 20% faster, okay? Actually being surrounded by nature, which is what we have here, I believe makes a huge difference for people's healing process. And so I looked around and thought, no, I could do much, much better. And I wanted to create the best fasting center in the world, a place that was beautiful and comfortable, that offered a climate that allows people to be outside year-round with fresh air. I have windows, but they're almost never closed. We don't even have heat or air conditioning. We never ever need those things here. And so, you know, I looked around, there was no place that was offering organic food. We use exclusively organic food, and we had a period where we didn't. When we first moved here, actually for many years, we had trouble sourcing it. It's now become much easier to find, and it's a lot more expensive, but it's all I want to feed myself, and so it's all I want to feed anyone else. I want to give everyone the advantage of having the highest quality food possible. And so it was really my desire to, bring this amazing process that had helped me so much. I wanted to share it with as many people as possible. And that's what prompted me to start Tanglewood, and what has kept me going all these years. It's hard to believe I'm closer to 30 years now than 20 doing the same thing. But it's because we see miracles here all the time.
The first fast I did was because my gallbladder was in very much pain. And so I fasted for 10 days and my gallbladder got better. Has never bothered me since. It's about 10 years ago. The second fast was scheduled to fix my gallbladder, but I had to take care of that sooner because of the pain. The second fast was 26 days, and my eyesight got better that time. The third fast, I had a lump in my chest, and I fasted for 32 days, and the lump went away, and it's never come back. And here at Tanglewood, I have fasted for 35 days, and I refed for 14 days. And this is the end of my stay here. And I had a lump next to my left testicle, and it's gone totally. And I had a problem with my wrist. It's called ulnar abutment, which means the bone here is jammed into the bones in the wrist, and that has all been gone. There's just a little bit of inflammation on the wrist, and I know fasting works to heal your body. The experience is taxing mentally more than physically for me. I'm no stranger to not eating. I wrestled in high school and college, and so I don't know if you know about wrestlers, but we starve ourselves to cut weight. And so I'm no stranger to not eating. The biggest thing is the mental ability to stick with it and not get discouraged, and feel yourself wanting to stop and do something different. A lot of resting, a lot of staying off of videos, not reading, not getting on the internet. The only time I do that is to call my wife to let her know I'm okay, and just relaxing.
I did a 21-day water fast, and I am on day 5 of my refeed. I am starting to get my energy back and starting to feel great. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever done at my weight, but now my digestive system just feels completely reset. I have a whole new body from this experience. It's been life-changing. I did a 15-day water fast last year, which was life-changing as well, but my last year of medical school kind of took away some of the benefits, so I was here to do an even deeper fast. And through this experience, it's been really amazing, and I'm starting to feel great. I remember last year, I just had never felt better in my entire life. Water fasting is really the fastest way to heal the body. It's expedited healing. You get a whole new body, all new cells. It's just really powerful. Just 21 days and I have a whole new body.
O melhor dos remédios é o descanso e o jejum. Benjamin Franklin. « 21 dias já se passaram e eu estou realmente muito mais magro, você pode ver. Mas uma das melhores partes do jejum é a alta endorfina e serotonina no sangue que fazem você se sentir perfeito. Tudo que você olha em sua vida é melhor. Você se sente mais feliz, a mente mais clara, se sente mais leve, não apenas uma leveza corporal, mas espiritual. Não sei, é como se fosse férias fisiológicas, porque geralmente as pessoas tiram férias do trabalho, mas vão viajar e acabam comendo mais junk food do que no dia a dia. Comem, bebem muito, dormem tarde. Ao invés de cuidarem do seu corpo, elas sobrecarregam o corpo. Então, enquanto jejuamos, estamos fazendo um descanso fisiológico. É um descanso de tudo e você tem mais tempo livre porque não está comendo, já que está descansando. Não precisa se exercitar. Então, tem sido uma experiência incrível até agora. É claro que o jejum é um pouco desafiador para a mente, certo? Você tem que ficar focado em seus objetivos, porque às vezes você quer ser ativo novamente. Às vezes eu sinto, deixa pra lá, eu vou comer melancia e retornar à minha vida normal. Mas eu sei que se eu fizer isso, eu não terei regenerado o máximo que meu corpo consegue. Eu posso sentir minha pele, meus olhos ficando mais jovens a cada dia. Você tem um interesse e uma admiração renovada pela vida. E as pessoas que mais criticam o jejum são aquelas que nunca perderam uma refeição em toda a sua vida. E compreendo que elas têm medo, mas nunca o estudaram. Nunca viram pessoas jejuando, nunca vivenciaram ou experimentaram em si mesmos. Por isso, vir a um centro de jejum é a melhor forma de perder os seus medos. Estou contente. O jejum é o mais bonito e espiritual processo que foi criado pela natureza que nós podemos vivenciar. Todas as doenças começam no intestino. Hipócrates.
People ask me all the time, what does fasting help? What's it good for? You know, can I help? Can I heal this condition? Can I heal that condition? And so, probably a basic foundational understanding that one needs to have when we talk about fasting, you have to understand that healing is a biological process. Okay, and what that means is that only the organism, the body, can heal the body. Only the body can heal the body, okay? Now, let me be really, really clear, because what that means is that your diet can't heal you. No special diet can heal you, okay? Herbs can't heal you, okay? Supplements and superfoods can't heal you. Healing's a biological process, okay? So when we think about in what ways, what conditions is fasting good for, the only question we really have to ask is this a condition that can heal, or is a condition that maybe can heal? Because medicine says lots of things can't heal. Okay, medicine says hypertension can't heal, right? If you have hypertension, high blood pressure, you're going to have to take medication for the rest of your life. And it's interesting that they say that, given that there is a study published in a medical journal that says that fasting 21 days on only water was more than 3 times as effective as any medication at reducing blood pressure. And different than suppressing symptoms, it reduces blood pressure because it actually resolves the underlying problem, okay? And we didn't need that study here because we've actually seen that outcome in more than 600 hypertensive clients over the last 26 plus years. So there are many things medicine said can't heal, says can't heal, but do heal all the time. Hypertension, cancer, which can be very challenging and depends on how advanced it is. But we've had many clients who've had the complete elimination or tumors as a result of fasting. They go in for surgery and they can't find a tumor. That happens all the time, literally. Now, I mean, we also have clients who come to us with advanced cancer and it's simply too late. And, I mean, if you have advanced cancer, I would certainly try fasting. You have nothing to lose. If medicine's already said to you, nothing we can do for you, there's nothing to lose. But it's important to understand that there are times where it's just too little too late, right? So fasting is going to allow the body to heal anything that can heal. If it's not able to heal, then fasting won't help it heal. Even in cases where someone doesn't heal, we've seen many people get much healthier, so much healthier, that they enjoy however much time they have left. They feel better, they function better, they have less pain, even though they may eventually succumb to the disease, whatever it is. If it's something that really is too late to heal completely, they're still going to see massive benefit. But the things we see are amazing. Lyme disease, we see heal all the time. I just said goodbye to a client yesterday who came to me last year for Lyme disease. She went somewhere else and was told she was too thin to fast. Fasted here, eliminated the Lyme disease. Came back this year, took her health to a whole new level. She's incredibly grateful for the changes. And medicine said to her, sorry, we can't help you. Okay? We see this all the time. I mean, all the way to things that would sound preposterous to most people. Medicine says if you've been paralyzed and it's been more than 2 years, there's no chance of healing. Last year I fasted a woman for 32 days who had been in a terrible car accident, was paralyzed from the neck down, and she healed. I mean, she's not playing soccer, but she is having bowel movements without needing an enema for the first time in 4+ years. It's now been 5 years. She's having bowel movements on her own. She's moving her hands. She has feeling in her spine when medicine says that can't happen. Okay, we see the same thing all the time.
And have just finished my 7-day refeeding process, and I came to Tanglewood to heal multiple aspects of my body, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. While some things are still taking its course to heal as I'm continuing my refeeding process. So I came to Tanglewood because, mainly because I had digestive issues. I had times in my life where my mental state wasn't so good, and that caused me to make very poor choices in my diet and lifestyle. Caused me to binge eat some very unhealthy foods, gain some serious weight, become very obese. I maxed out at 250 pounds, lost a bunch of weight, got to 185 pounds when I got into college, and due to stress and other situations, got it to 225 a couple times actually. And I'm really happy to say that after fasting 21 days and refeeding for 7 days, I'm at a solid 155 pounds. And though I want to gain a few more pounds, I'm extremely happy where my body is at. I also had some physical injuries in my hip, as well as in my lower back. And those are taking some time to heal, but I do feel them getting better each day, so I'm really happy about that. And then I also just wanted to heal as much mentally as possible. So I spent this year before coming here kind of working on my mental health a lot, and I focused a lot on healing the past. And I'm really happy to say after spending 21 days without food and really just focusing inside of my body and inside of my head, I've come a long way from healing from that, and I've done a really good job. And what really was bothering me was the future, and I realized that I had a really hard time staying in the present moment.
Eu gostaria de poder falar em português, porque é minha língua nativa, mas o documentário é em inglês, então depois de chorar de felicidade, na verdade, é um choro de tristeza feliz. Porque depois de estar tão doente, quando eu era jovem, eu sou um cara forte, não sou de chorar, não sou o tipo de pessoa que chora, mas jejuar nos emociona porque começa uma cura não só física, mas também emocional. Não sei, mas depois de ser tão doente durante os meus 22 primeiros anos, sempre espirrando, obeso, com inúmeras doenças, quando encontrei a higiene natural, esse estilo de medicina que propaga uma vida toda natural, o jejum e viver de frutos vegetais, jurei a mim mesmo que ia ser a pessoa mais saudável que eu poderia ser, porque depois de sofrer tanto e depois de encontrar o que funciona, eu sentia que era a melhor coisa do mundo. Tornar-me saudável e viver um estilo de vida higienista, uma dieta frugívora, de acordo com as leis da natureza, foi a melhor coisa que me aconteceu. E eu prometi a mim mesmo que ia espalhar essa mensagem, tentar salvar o máximo de pessoas que eu pudesse, porque quando você encontra algo que realmente te faz tão bem, você quer compartilhar com o mundo. Então, meu objetivo de vida tornou-se compartilhar com o máximo de pessoas possível, pois acredito que esta mensagem pode salvar o mundo, salvar toda a raça humana de sofrer. Só mais 5, quase 4 dias para terminar.
Eu fiz isso com 16 anos. Pra mim era muito importante. Eu sonhei com isso há muito tempo.
O jejum é o primeiro princípio da medicina. Homem. Respirando fundo, eu acabei chorando porque é um processo tão bonito, é um processo tão interno, era um sonho para mim. Fazendo um jejum longo de água porque eu tive uma infância tão terrível, com tantas doenças. Então eu queria regenerar meu corpo e o jejum é o processo mais espiritual e profundo que podemos vivenciar. Quase 40 dias sem comer, você cria uma tamanha gratidão pela vida. Eu sou tão científico, eu não sou um cara espiritual, mas depois de quase 40 dias sem comer, na verdade estou quebrando no 39º. Eu não fui para os 40, eu não sei. Senti no meu coração. Meu corpo indicava que era hora de quebrar o jejum, que eu não deveria levar mais um dia. Talvez eu esteja errado, talvez eu devesse, mas estou sentindo psicologicamente e fisicamente que hoje é o dia. Então, está sendo uma experiência tão incrível, o lugar, as pessoas, elas me apoiaram tanto, todo mundo que está jejuando aqui, tudo foi excelente. E você cria uma reverência tão incrível pela vida. Eu estou amando as plantas, o lugar, o fato de estar vivo, pela natureza produzir meu alimento. É tão bonito como a natureza nos dá tudo o que precisamos. Ela nos dá essas lindas frutas e vegetais, tão coloridos e deliciosos. Estou feliz que as plantas, Deus, a natureza, nos dá a vida. Estou grato por estar vivo. E não consigo expressar tamanha gratitude. A única coisa que desejo do fundo do meu coração é que o planeta, a raça humana, os animais, o reino vegetal, toda a vida na Terra poder ser próspera, poder ser saudável, poder estar de volta em simbiose, porque a raça humana está destruindo o planeta. sem perceber que nós, seres humanos, estamos nos matando sem perceber. Estamos matando a comida, nos separando da natureza. Então, meu único desejo do fundo do coração é que nós possamos, como raça, voltar ao Jardim do Éden e viver mais uma vez em harmonia com a natureza, em harmonia com nossos corpos, comer a comida que deveríamos comer e usar o remédio natural, o jejum, como deveríamos fazer, como fizemos através da evolução. Então, meu desejo mais profundo, do fundo do meu coração, é que toda a vida na Terra possa ser amada e curada, porque nos tornamos os mais doentes dos animais, os animais mais doentes do planeta, sem perceber que a resposta é tão simples, é apenas olhar para a natureza e entender que este alimento é o caminho para nos curar, é o caminho para a cura. Muito obrigado.
Choro de felicidade. Grato por me acompanhar nessa jornada.
Não, gratidão por estar aqui, podendo experienciar isso, olhando pra você.
Sim,
cara.
não, e boa. Assim, assim, ó.
É.
Açúcar!
I need.
A comida existe! Eu lambi até uma lágrima, minha.
So why have supervision? I mean, obviously, one of the comments I hear all the time is, well, I can not eat all by myself. And that's absolutely true. The not eating is the easiest part. The reason for having experienced guidance in this process is that you actually understand what's happening. You know, unfortunately, fasting is something that's been lost to our culture. So nowhere in the world do people grow up fasting when they have an issue. Had we always done that, you know, if everyone understood the process and what it felt like and what the symptoms meant and how much water they needed, then no one would need supervision. But the problem is almost no one actually has that going on. And so the truth is that very few people truly understand what these symptoms mean and what it's telling us. And one of the things that happens when people fast without supervision is they often wind up breaking their fast prematurely. They think there's a problem, they think they need to stop, when they really don't need to stop. They could keep going, and they would be better off if they continued, but they don't know. Often they're terrified of what's happening. They've got something going on, they think there might be a problem. You know, in order to benefit as much as possible, we need to be resting, so we're liberating our energy. We're not getting much benefit if we're terrified of what's happening. In fact, if we're afraid of what's happening and we're imagining the worst case scenarios, we might actually be creating those outcomes. So it's important that we're able to relax and completely surrender to the process. And one of the things that I hear all the time, whether I'm working with people here or working with people remotely, is they tell me they feel like they can relax because they know that I'm watching, I'm paying attention, I've got their back, I'm making sure that they're okay. As much as we can do. So basically, having supervision for most people is the difference between maximizing your benefit of the process, getting everything you can from it, and staying as safe as possible, or not doing those things. And this is the reason why I think it's fair to say, without exception, that in 26 and a half years supervising fasts, virtually every single client who's fasted before tells us that their fast here or with me remotely was way more powerful and beneficial than what they were able to achieve on their own. And that's simply because of the level of knowledge and experience. I mean, someone said to me yesterday, I feel so much better understanding what these numbers mean. Knowing, okay, if I do this, this is what happens. This is why I've got that going on. So it can make a huge difference. And it means you can just relax and surrender and not have to worry. And that's really perhaps much more important than many people imagine, because it ensures that you are able to get the most benefit from the process. People ask me all the time why I don't eat cooked food, why in fact I eat the way that I eat. And it's a really important question, because ultimately, whether somebody fasts or doesn't fast, I mean, if you're going to go to the trouble of giving your body the chance to cleanse and heal itself over the course of 21 days or nearly 40 days, as Eduardo has done, it doesn't really make much long-term difference if you wind up going back and making poor choices again afterward. The most important thing on an ongoing basis is that we're making the best choices possible. Fasting is like a giant reset button. So we're taking our health back in time to a place in time where it was higher, where we had higher vitality and we were more vibrant, the body was less toxic, everything functioned better. We're literally growing younger, and science has shown this, that we literally grow younger with high levels of human growth hormone, with our telomeres getting longer, which is a direct reflection of how much life we have left to live. This is what happens when we fast. But if we were to go right back and make the same poor choices that created the conditions, if we wind up going back to making the same poor choices we made when we came and started this whole cleansing and healing process, we're going to recreate the same issues. So it's important, first of all, we want to understand that we have to make the best choices possible. Now the question then is, well, why is what I recommend, why is that optimal? What makes that better than anything else? And there are several things to think about here. First of all, consider the fact that it's estimated, there are 25 million animal species on the planet, okay? Mostly insects, but 25 million different animal species. Every one of them has a species-specific diet, a natural diet. So what is it that makes the diet I recommend the best diet? Well, consider this first of all. There are roughly 25 million animal species on the planet, it's estimated, and every one of them has a natural diet, a species-specific diet, which every member of their species eats, every single one. Only humans say, well, that might work for you, but it's different for me. Everyone's got different ideas. And what this demonstrates is that we've actually lost touch with our natural instincts. Okay? Every other species automatically knows what they're supposed to eat. And humans are wondering, should I eat this or should I eat that? But it turns out that there is a natural diet for our bodies, and it's the same for everyone. Your digestive tract is exactly the same as mine. And both of our digestive tracts are almost exactly the same as those of bonobos and chimpanzees. These are animals that live almost exclusively on fruit. Okay, our systems are set up for fruit. In fact, if you think about everything available to you in nature, outside in the natural environment, without cooking or processing, what would you be most attracted to? Now, for most of us, it's clearly fruit. And yet we've been led to believe that fruit contains too much sugar. It's a problem for us. We're going to have sugar issues, etc. And of course, this is not true. None of this is true at all. This is all nonsense, based on misunderstandings of how the body operates. The idea that because fractionated fructose from high fructose corn syrup is harmful to us, people imagine that fructose is bad for us. In fact, there are studies on the dangers of fructose consumption, but they're looking at high fructose corn syrup. And people think, well, that means we shouldn't eat fruit. But that's not true. There's none of those issues. As it turns out, probably the most important thing, in my opinion, is hydration. And what hydrates us better than all these amazing things here? Okay? Obviously the foods that I grew up on, and perhaps you grew up on as well, cooked foods, breads and pastas and meats, these things which at some point when they were plants or animals had a lot of water in them, by the time they're cooked and processed, there's very little, and that's dehydrating. So we want to eat a hydrating diet, but we can't make it up by simply drinking water. We couldn't get enough water in. Okay, and it's probably more than we want to get into here, but suffice to say that when we're eating things that are dry, we're taking water from the body. When we're eating foods like these, we're putting water, perfect water, into the body. If we're eating a diet almost exclusively of things that take water from the body, we can never drink enough in 24 hours to make up for that. And so over the last 16 years, we've measured more than 6,000 people's levels of hydration. And virtually everyone who comes in here is severely dehydrated. And we can take most of those people to a much higher level of hydration as a result of getting the garbage out. But eating a hydrating diet is important. In terms of nutrient needs, all the nutrients. I mean, someone said to me the other day, well, this guy says that we can get all the nutrients we need from eating meat. Okay, nutrients in meat come from plants. They come from the plants that the animals ate. Even carnivores don't eat animals that eat animals. Okay, carnivores, animals that eat animals that eat plants because they want to be as close to the nutrients as possible. We do much better when we get the nutrients directly from the plants. All the vitamins, all the minerals, all the enzymes, all the phytonutrients we need are found in significant quantity in these foods. And these are the foods our bodies are meant for. That's why they taste good to us. Okay, they appeal to our senses because we're supposed to be eating. Cats have no interest in most of these foods because they're obligate carnivores. Okay, we're attracted to these things because it's what we're meant to eat. Okay, there are no blood sugar issues with these foods. They actually lower blood sugar rather than raise it because the water and fiber content ensure that the sugar is absorbed slowly into the system. And remember, our primary fuel is glucose. It's sugar. Okay, we can also use fructose, but the body doesn't have to work when we're getting the nutrients from our foods. So while this sounds radical to most people, and by the way, not just fruits, in addition to fruits, we're also meant to eat soft, tender leaves, which again, very high in water, about 96% water, relatively high in protein, although per calorie they have very few calories. It's hard to eat too much protein. I mean, we can easily eat too much protein if we're eating other things. Eating this diet, it's almost impossible. And that's important because while everyone's concerned about protein because we've been brainwashed to think we need to be, the truth of this is that excess protein has been proven to cause us to age and die faster. So we want to be sure that we're not eating a lot of protein, and eating fruits and leafy greens means we're not getting too much protein. We get enough that we stay strong and fit. We easily can be active and think clearly. We don't have all the garbage coming in that most people are consuming. We don't create all the problems that we're creating. This is the only diet that I've seen that consistently has people who get their bodies clean, feeling and functioning amazingly well, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and even decade after decade. Okay, I'm now 31 years into eating this way and haven't been sick a single day. Haven't missed a day of work, haven't had a day where I didn't have energy. I mean, except for those days I didn't get any sleep the night before because there was, something I had to do, whatever. But this is what allows us to feel and function amazingly well. Now, to get directly, to the heart of the matter that a lot of people don't understand, yeah, but what's wrong with cooking food? I mean, it's true, these are the only foods that appeal to us in their natural state, really appeal to us. But lots of things are appealing if we cook them. What's wrong with that? Well, it turns out that when we cook food, we create chemical reactions in the food. And so we're actually doing two important things. One, we're destroying nutrients. Okay, we want to get the nutrients from our food into our bodies. But when we cook foods, we destroy nutrients, quite a few of them. But the second thing, which may be even more important, is that when we cook foods, we're creating toxic compounds. We're creating compounds that never existed before. Okay, so cooked carbohydrates contain acrylamide, which is a carcinogenic compound. It's a type of plastic, like acrylic, which is formed from cooking these foods. Okay, when we cook proteins and fats, we're creating other types of toxic and carcinogenic compounds. And every time, research has shown, every time you put cooked food in your mouth, there's an immune response. Your body responds by creating and sending white blood cells to your digestive tract, raising your temperature so they work harder, and that's happening. It's as if the reaction is if your body's been poisoned every time you cook food. But that's only because it has been. Okay? Cooked foods are actually toxic and harmful to us, and eating them causes disease. So I understand a lot of people aren't willing to change. But the first thing I tell every client is you want to get really, really clear what you're committed to. You know, I consider myself incredibly fortunate. I got really, really sick when I was 23. Okay, for 3 years, I could barely function. I spent a lot of my time in bed. I was working, but I spent all the rest of my time in bed. I could barely do anything. I became allergic to everything. I had all kinds of digestive problems and elimination problems. I had no energy. I couldn't think clearly. I couldn't function very well. And that experience was so powerful for me because it made me truly value my health. And it's for that reason that I've gone 31 years making consistently excellent, if not perfect, choices, such that I'm never sick. I feel amazing. My body works better at 61 than it did at 18. Okay? And this is what's possible for virtually everyone. So, if I had just 5 minutes or less to give people a message, the message I'd want people to understand, you know, we all grow up believing that as we get older, we begin to fail. We lose our eyesight, we lose our joint function, we lose the ability to build muscle and to feel as functional. You know, some people lose mental clarity. All these things, these breakdowns that occur, most people think are normal. And the truth is, they are normal because normal means typical. This is what happens to most people. But it's not what has to happen. Okay, this doesn't have to happen to anyone. And the message I'd like to leave you with here is for you to understand that although we spent our whole life eating conventionally, perhaps, I did for many years, and maybe you have up until now, you want to be clear that that's actually the primary cause of disease. And while you may think that that's where all your pleasure in life is, I can remember thinking that I would never want to give up my favorite foods. And yet, today, I feel incredibly fortunate and grateful that when I sit down to eat, I eat the most delicious things on the planet. Okay, my meals include things like dragon fruit and mangosteen and watermelon, one of my very favorite things on the planet, rambutans. These are incredible. This is nature's candy. And the thing is, candy's bad for you, but this candy is perfect for us. It's amazing. And so if you're willing to, anyone, if you're willing to give your body the opportunity to cleanse and heal itself, and you're willing to do this properly, which means having experienced guidance through the process, you do it properly and long enough, and then you're willing to make excellent choices that actually support a high level of health, it's incredible what you can accomplish, how well you can feel, how long you can continue to feel good. Most of the people I know, the contemporaries I grew up with, many of them are falling apart. Many people have had eye surgeries and wear thick glasses or have lost their vision to a great extent. Many of them are losing a lot of their faculties, a lot of their abilities. That doesn't have to happen. I know what that's like because it happened to me at an early age, and yet I've got it all back, and my body functions better today. And what I want you to understand is that there's really no limitations to what you can create for yourself. Okay, I have a client who in her 60s began running, and in her 70s was running marathons and triathlons and winning medals. Okay, starting in her 60s after getting cancer. Don't believe, that's okay, but check it out. Okay, give yourself the gift of this experience of fasting 21 days or more with guidance, and you will take your health to a new level, guaranteed. For most people, it's life-changing what happens. So many people tell me that they just can't believe how well they feel. That's what's possible for you too. If you want to feel and function better than ever, understand there are virtually no limitations. The only limitations are the ones you're willing to accept. Stop accepting them and go out there and create the best life that you can imagine.
Já estou há 20 dias em realimentação. Estou sentindo maravilhosamente bem. É incrível. Eu nem tenho palavras para descrevê-lo. Eu estava correndo ontem na chuva e chorei. Estou chorando frequentemente por aparentemente nenhuma razão. Começo a chorar do nada, sem razão alguma, ou melhor, por todas as razões. Tenho muitas razões boas para estar emocionado, mas vem do nada e nesse momento eu só tenho a agradecer ao Loren, ao Tanglewood e foi uma experiência tão boa, tão incrível. É um lugar tão incrível, as pessoas aqui também jejuando, o ambiente ideal torna muito mais fácil e prazeroso jejuar. Devido ao contato com a natureza que temos aqui e as pessoas jejuando também, porque você estar ao redor de pessoas com ideias semelhantes às suas, que entendem e aceitam o jejum, fica muito mais fácil. É muito mais difícil ter pessoas que não compreendem, porque elas te colocam para baixo em vez de apoiar. Então a comida ideal, o ambiente tropical, foi uma experiência magnífica estar no Tanglewood, mas também o jejum é como os antigos higienistas costumavam dizer, é a verdadeira cirurgia da natureza. Então sou grato por minha vida ter sido salva, por todo esse conceito de medicina de estilo de vida saudável, higienista há 16 anos, e poder ter pessoas no mundo que lutam pelo que é certo. Obrigado.
My pleasure, man. Glad you were here. It's great having you here. I know it's an amazing experience, and I know it's going to continue. You're going to continue to see benefits from this over the next 6 weeks and beyond. So, awesome job.
Espero sinceramente do fundo do meu coração que o seu trabalho e o Tanglewood cresçam e mais pessoas possam experimentar isso em primeira mão. Experimente por si mesmo o que é a melhor garantia de saúde ao invés de seguro de saúde. O melhor que você pode ter direito a vida inteira. A melhor escola de saúde, o melhor remédio, a melhor maneira de cuidar de si mesmo perante a minha humilde opinião. Esse é o jeito da natureza.
Well, I think the important key to remember that most people don't understand is that healing is a biological process. Cleansing and detoxification are biological processes. Only the organism can do these things. And fasting is so powerful simply because it gives the body the optimal conditions to cleanse and heal. In an environment like this, where we're surrounded by nature and the air is pure and the water is amazing and the fruits are incredible and organic, that much better.
Boa ideia, boa ideia, boa ideia, boa ideia.
Thank you.
Legal, 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 legal.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Legal.
you, thank you.
O jejum pode salvar sua vida. Então agora, 2 meses depois de ter quebrado o jejum de 39 dias, eu gostaria de fazer alguns comentários em relação ao documentário. Eu fui para Costa Rica sabendo que não é um centro medicamente supervisionado. Então, eu não posso, como profissional da área de saúde, incentivar as pessoas a fazerem um jejum não medicamente supervisionado. Mas eu fui para lá sim, porque eu já sou muito experiente com jejum, eu sei o que eu estou fazendo, meu corpo, minhas regras. Então eu realmente vou para um centro de jejum não medicamente supervisionado sem me preocupar. Mas só que para o público, para os meus pacientes, etc., eu não recomendo jejum e falo que você deve se educar sempre sobre o jejum e buscar, caso você queira, um centro medicamente supervisionado e se eles permitirem você a fazer um jejum, você vá sob supervisão médica, etc. Mas por que eu sou contra o jejum não medicamente supervisionado? Primeiro, porque eu respondo legalmente. Então, qualquer coisa que aconteça, você pode culpar o Eduardo. Então, eu não recomendo jejum por causa disso. Segundo porque realmente algumas pessoas cometem erros e não têm um bom senso na realimentação, durante o jejum, não sabem o que estão fazendo, às vezes podem ter um problema de saúde mais grave e não é recomendado fazer um jejum sem supervisão médica. Tem centro de jejum higienista no Brasil? Infelizmente não tem. Então, por isso que eu sou muito a favor da leitura do Jejum Higienista Cirurgia da Natureza, que eu acho que é o livro mais atualizado sobre o assunto no mundo, e de procurar supervisão médica higienista. Mas o que a maior parte das pessoas não entende, que desde que eu publiquei o primeiro documentário aqui no YouTube e bateu 1,5 milhão de visualizações, todo mundo me procura só pensando no jejum, sem entender que o estilo de vida higienista é muito mais importante do que o jejum em si. aprender a dormir cedo, pegar sol, praticar atividade física, comer saudável e manter isso a longo prazo, é que realmente importa na sua saúde. O jejum é uma arma poderosíssima, mais forte do que qualquer intervenção higienista? É, mas é algo que você faz por poucos dias, não é algo que você vai fazer para o resto da sua vida, durante toda a sua vida. Eu sou muito a favor do jejum, mas sou contra jejum sem indicação médica e supervisão médica. E acho que, mesmo que você vá fazer numa instituição, a leitura do assunto sobre livros higienistas é obrigatória. Por último, eu adorei o jejum na Costa Rica, foi uma parceria minha com o Lauren e fui muito feliz. Admiro muito ele pela motivação, por ser o único centro realmente de jejum higienista no mundo que propaga uma dieta frugívora. Tenho muitos pontos positivos a falar do jejum lá e a falar do Lauren, da instituição, etc. E foi um jejum magnífico. Entretanto, a minha realimentação realmente foi um tanto quanto problemática e que ficou fora do documentário em inglês, que foi para ele, porque eu tive alguns problemas durante a realimentação, não comigo. Eu estava super saudável e me senti super bem, mas eu realmente não concordo com muitas das práticas de realimentação que ele força sobre as pessoas. Como, por exemplo, o único vegetal consumindo, tirando as frutas vegetais, tomate, pepino, se é alface. E só permitir a reintrodução de alface, por exemplo, na dieta de uma pessoa, lá pelo 5º dia. A gente comeu uma salada com abacate, foi só lá pelo 9º dia. A quantidade de comida logo depois do início da realimentação, 60 gramas, sendo para um homem de 2 metros de altura ou para uma senhora de 1,50 m, eu acho errôneo. São várias adequações da dieta higienista que eu achei errôneo durante a realimentação, sendo muito rígido e para uma forma que não é nutricionalmente ideal. Mas muita gente realmente não teve incômodos em relação à realimentação lá, porque não está acostumado a uma alimentação higienista, não achou problema nenhum. Eu não achei tão satisfatório, mas de resto o jejum foi magnífico e gostei muito da experiência e pretendo fazer outros jejuns de 40 dias, que até agora eu tenho continuado a ver benefícios na minha coluna, na mandíbula, na capacidade neurológica, na capacidade física, até mesmo na capacidade reprodutora. Tudo que eu tenho visto na minha saúde melhorou consideravelmente após o jejum e eu estou muito feliz dele. Regenerou minha coluna e todos os problemas de saúde 100%? Não. Infelizmente, o jejum tem limitações. É como se você cortasse uma perna ou um braço e jejuasse e esperasse que fosse crescer um novo. Não funciona assim. Então, sou muito feliz de ter regenerado muito mais, mas ainda sinto que eu, com mais um jejum de 40 dias, talvez consiga melhorar mais ainda a minha saúde e a minha meta, sim, em breve, daqui a alguns anos, fazer um outro jejum, talvez agora em um outro centro de jejum, no True North Health Center, na Califórnia. Mas, de qualquer forma, vi inúmeros benefícios com o meu jejum de 40 dias, não vi malefício nenhum e agora só faltam uns 3 a 4 quilos para ganhar. Já estou com quase 68 quilos de novo, que era o peso que eu comecei meu jejum. Então, espero que vocês tenham gostado, que vocês se eduquem através dos nossos outros documentários de jejum e os documentários que não são de jejum. E clica nos vídeos aqui para assistir os próximos documentários.